Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 21. We got
Man,
Scotty the Body and Train Like Prince. I am Ange Fit. And we are coming at you 1 week out from stage. Like,
Hey,
yeah, very excited. We'll keep
time
you guys.
flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
and I'm super excited for you.
Man,
Reaching your goals, feeling good, doing all the things.
looking good, all that.
All that. And guys, I'm going to tell you, when you reach your goal or you see your progress, because that's what we're talking about today, it just feels so good. And I hope that for everybody, because progress feels so good. So good. So, all right, we're going to go with a quote to start. I didn't see who this quote was by. I saw it. It was a meme or whatever you want to call it. So you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. I love that because we all are a work in progress, even when you're making progress. Because if you're learning and you're growing and evolving, there's no such thing as standing still. I'm done. I've reached my goal. I'm going to stop. And I had someone say to me today, are you excited to get on stage so that you can stop? And I was like, no, we don't stop. We just move into, we don't stop. We just move into a different season to make different progress.
I love that, Ange.
Yes. And that's what I said. We don't stop. We just move into a different season. And we will be doing a podcast on Stage is Over Now What? So look for that to happen. But it's just you move on to a different season and you still make progress. It's just different progress. It's in a different direction. So we're going to talk today about how to honor your progress. Because I feel like this week, especially, I've talked to a lot of people that are frustrated, disappointed in themselves, maybe that they didn't do this or that. Maybe they fell off their plan. Maybe they, got a reality check that, it's mid-April and we've had since what? How many months since the first of the year? We're almost coming to halfway through the year, right? So
just like
I
that.
feel just like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's important that we stop and talk about how we can honor the progress that we made, because that is not to be forgotten. That needs to be honored, and you need to accept and celebrate that, right? Don't you guys agree? Like it really can't be
100%.
something that you're just like, I didn't hit my goal, it's over. No, you made little steps along the way. So I think this podcast is very timely, being that it's spring and a lot of people are going to be starting fitness programs. A lot of people, I think March and April are the second biggest time of the year for fitness, for people to get back on track, for meal plans, for nutrition changes. So we're going to dive in. And I saw this. I started following this new Instagram page, which we talked about, following social media accounts that serve us. And it's called Anxiety Positive. And I was like, what is this? And something popped up and I clicked on it and it was all the feel goods, like all the feel good posts. And I'm like, I'm kind of liking this. So they gave me this idea. So the first thing we're going to touch on is meet yourself where you're at. Okay. And you guys, I'm going to ask you guys in a minute to touch on this, but I still feel like a lot of people are playing the comparison game. Scotty is here. Why am I not here? Why is Prince making these changes and his quads look like that and mine don't? Like, what? Meet yourself where you're at, because no one can take that from you. You are an individual moving forward in your goals, and it has nothing to do with anybody else.
None. Seriously,
None.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes. Scotty, talk to us about this. Meet yourself where you're at. What do you have to say about that?
It's basically just kind of like living in the moment. Like you can't think too much in the future. You can't think too much in the past. Like you have to be present. You have to, like, yeah, you have your goals set, and yeah, you learn from your mistakes. Like that all comes into play, but like you have to focus on where you're at, like the present. You have to make sure that you're giving it your all. You're checking in with yourself every day. You're checking the box off every task, everything that you do. It's important because a lot of times you can get caught up, whether it's you're getting caught up with your goal and you're like, crap, I'm not where I should be yet. And then you can kind of fall off the wagon, because then you kind of just, you're down in the dumps and you're just like, oh man, like I'm never going to get there. So that can get in your head. Or you start thinking about your past, like, well, last time I did this at this point, like I stopped and I quit. And now you're thinking like all the negatives from that. So you got to block the future and the past out and be in the present. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And the more you can do that, the more you'll be able to just, you'll notice those. You won't notice the changes at first, but like those changes will happen, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Like they'll just boom, all of a sudden they change. Because like I wanted to keep this one for the later one, but like I've said many times on this podcast, is becoming 1% better every day. As long as you're becoming 1%, and I think I saw your post the other day.
Yes!
You become, and you saw it too, which like I'm like, oh, like yes, like that's my, like you and like 2 other people I follow on Instagram always talk about being 1% better, and like
1%
I
better.
always talk about, yeah, and like you're gonna be 365% better if you're 1% better every day.
For real.
And that's what it is. And that's
small
really
numbers add up. Small numbers add up, man. I love that too, because it even makes me, it motivates me to think about that. Honestly, it motivates me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
agree,
Well, Prince, talk to us about meeting yourself where you're at. And I'm going to tie into another one that, Scotty, you said this. It's okay to not be where you want to be yet.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So Prince, tell us your thoughts on, meet yourself where you're at, but also it's okay not to be where you want to be yet.
Oh man, I would say I always look at the stay in your own lane theory, in a sense of like,
I love that.
like completely getting rid of comparison to anyone except yourself. And if anything, in that lane, like you got to be alert. If you want to get literal, like driving the car, you got to be alert. And it's kind of like Scotty said, being in the moment, and really staying present on like, okay, yeah, like what can I do to be better today? Like, and even like, say I set a goal, and even if I fail right in that moment, when I fail, I automatically get back to it. Like, I can't give up. You know what? Let me start doing better right now. Let me try again. I feel like you can always look at like, in that moment, or no matter what moment, if you stop, the result you're gonna get. So you got to keep going. So meet yourself where you're at. One means staying in your own lane, means, acting in the moment, staying in the moment, and then embracing that. I highly doubt that like any one of us in this podcast is in the same place that we were in last year. You know what I mean? And for me, it's definitely better, in a better place, especially mentally. And I'm sure we've all grown in different ways. And now I still am not where I want to be, but I can meet myself where I'm at right now. I'm like, okay, we made it this far. Let's assess our inventory and everything that we utilized and used to get this far, and where we want to go and how we can get there. And just embracing that, because the worst thing to do is to quit. So meet yourself where you're at and keep pushing.
Yeah, I love all of that. And it's so important, because all of our actions, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but guys, it's just about executing the small things you need to do every day and being consistent. We've said this over and over again. That is really the secret pill, the secret equation to success is consistency over a small period of time. And anybody that's reached a big goal will tell you it was the small things they did every day. Anybody would tell you that, whether it's a relationship, business, health, fitness, sports, like that's exactly what it comes down to. And you guys both hit that right on, where you're like, be present in the moment, not worrying about what you have to do tomorrow, but accept where you are. I'm in this moment today at this very second. What is my next meal?
Man,
What is my
yeah.
next business call? What is my next interaction with this person I'm trying to build a relationship with? Like, what is the next step?
In all
And
honesty, and
really, that's what it comes down to.
yeah, in all honesty, like I want to say some of the biggest changes I've made have been like in that moment of meeting myself where I'm at, where I've been like, you know what, man, like there's been some days where I've woken up and I was like, I just don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to be like that anymore. And usually it's with like some type of habit, and I got to work hard at sticking toward it. But it's making that deal with yourself too, that in that moment, like I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be this. I want to work toward that. So a lot of my progress has been made in the moment, right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You said making that deal with yourself. And we talked about this before, that confidence is built by keeping the promises that you made to yourself. And we've talked about that. So if you're making a promise to get that workout in, you're making a promise to eat healthy, you're making a promise to make those business calls, you're making a promise to work on your mental hygiene, and you fulfill those promises to yourself, that's when the confidence gets built. And that's when you really have the right mindset to keep moving forward to make this progress that we're all
Because you
searching
trust
for.
you. I
You
think that's the biggest
trust
part.
you.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that paralysis you talked about. A big part of that is trusting yourself. If you're confident,
Yes.
you trust you.
I love that so much. You trust you. If you take away nothing else today, take that away.
You trust you.
You trust you.
Type that down.
Yes, that's really good. All right, let's move on to the next one. And I can vouch for this one, and I think we all can. Accept progress is hard. Wow. Like, don't think that you're going to set this goal on Monday and it's Friday morning and you're done. Like, and don't think it's going to be so smooth that the universe is not going to throw any change of plans, any wrench, any this, any that in your way, because it will. And it will be hard. And that's the first thing that I tell people. It's not going to be easy. I don't care how good you think you are, right? How good you think you are, it is still going to be hard.
It's not just going to happen. It's not
It's
just like,
just not going to happen.
I got this goal. I know I got this goal. Cool. I'm done after that. Like it's going to happen. No, that's not how it works.
Again, the person saying to me today, are you ready for stage so you can be done? Like, again, it's progress is going to be hard, but here's the thing too. You have to accept that and accept the challenge. Like when you accept the challenge that it's going to be hard, it's almost like you don't realize it's hard till it's over. You don't realize how hard you worked till you stopped, like, or till you look back, or till you honor where you are. And you're like, dang, I did that. I stuck with this for this long. I created this. I developed this, whatever that it is that you're looking for. Like, sometimes it doesn't hit you till it's over, especially if you're very mindful in your goal. You don't realize it's hard until, like, you're just like, wow. Sometimes
you put those blinders on.
You put those blinders on. But progress is really hard. I mean, you could have a really awesome meal plan and you're ready to rock on Monday, and then you go to the store and all your food's not there. So you have to navigate around that. You could have a party after a party after a party, and you're like, where's my meal plan going? Progress is hard. You could be tired and not want to get up and go do your workout. It's not easy. So Scotty, talk to us about accepting progress is hard, because I know you both have stories to share, considering that we all work with clients. We all work with people on a daily basis. So Scotty, talk to us about that.
Yeah. So like first thing, like accepting that progress is hard. It's, if it was easy, then like everyone would just constantly be leveling up and the whole world would just be like, everyone would just be just healthy as hell. Just like
just perfect.
We'd all be perfect. Right? That's right.
Everything is awesome.
Exactly. Like it's hard because like you're making yourself better every time, and that takes work. Like you have to put in some type of work to accomplish almost anything. You know what I mean? So it's like the only time you don't have to put work in is when you just click the remote and you just press keep watching when the next episode of something on Netflix, like that's literally the only thing you have to do. still effort. You gotta push that button. But no, like how many
Minimal.
times, like how many times we talked about it with 75 hard, like going
Oh,
back to doing like the little things and consistency, and it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Like it like it can sometimes be easier when you do it with somebody, but like if you're not always doing it with somebody, you're like you have to do it for yourself, and you're not going to have someone there holding your hand all the time and like getting you through it. Wrestling, I started off terrible wrestler. I didn't even know how points were scored. I just knew could be on your back, and just the progress that it took for me to become at least like somewhat competitive and eventually like have a winning season, like that took like hours, like years. It took so long to get to where I got. Not saying like I was like a state champ or anything like that, but like from when I first started to when I ended my college career, like it was completely different. I just knew my way around the mat. I just knew so much more. And the amount of work that I put in, like I couldn't even tell you how many practices I've had, how many hours in the wrestling room, how much weight I've lost and cut and went back and forth. And the times I maybe starved myself, or the times where like I binged right after a match, or like I ate too much before a wrestling match because I was so hungry and I threw up. Like there's so much that goes into getting to that goal. And if you think that it's just going to happen, then you're never going to reach that goal, sadly. Like it's just plain and simple. Like you're not going to be able to get the things that you want to get if you just expect them to be handed to you. And that's what you can see a lot of times, especially in this world, especially some of these kids, like a lot of these kids don't work for too much. I'm not saying like all kids like that, but like there's a lot of people that like they're just spoiled and they're just given stuff at such a young age. And then when they get older, like they don't get a job until like maybe after college. And then they start working for you and they're like, have you ever done anything like any hard work a day in your life? And they're like, no, like I was given everything. Like,
look at Scotty talking like a dad already.
Right, I was like,
kid's gonna be working at 10 years old now.
Dang.
Yeah, I
Scotty
was like, oh
just,
shoot, man.
wait, I feel like we just had like Scotty just like changed his vibe a little bit there real quick.
Yeah.
Is this the progression of Scotty the body?
Yeah, I was Scotty the daddy.
Getting ready for fatherhood.
Yeah, man. I don't know,
I
man.
mean, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a job after he just talked. Yeah.
Right. Like, I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah.
No, it's just like and I don't know, it's just being comfortable. Like that's another thing. Like being comfortable. Like that's where you start to fall back. Remember, we always say if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So like if you're just being comfortable and you're just like, all right, cool, like I'm just gonna go through this, I'm just gonna go like that, like what are you doing to improve yourself? Like what are you doing? Like how are you practicing your purpose? Just, everything's tied in. I love it.
Yes. That again, one of my favorite videos of all times. And I start my journal entry every morning with the purpose of my practice today is, and then I fill in the blank. And that has been a game changer the past month that I've been, 3 weeks that I've been doing that. What a game changer to get my mindset right for the day when I journal that first thing in the morning. All right, Prince, accept progress is hard. Now, I had that client that's been like, I have eaten everything perfect for 1 week and the scale hasn't changed. I know you've had that client. So talk to us. What would you say to them? Well, what do you say to them? Because you know progress is hard. You've been through it. Like, what are you going to tell them? Like,
I mean, I first start with how long I've been on my fitness journey. And, you know, like this is 8 years. This is almost 10 years in now. And I'll get messages from people right now like, hey, man, I want to look like you. I'm doing all of this, but it's just not happening or this. And like the first thing I'd like to put out there is that, man, like this took time. It took a lot of trial and error. And it cost me a lot. I had to make certain sacrifices, you know what I mean, to get to a certain point. And then and this is just specifically to that client who's like, hey man, I did everything I need to do for that for a week. I still don't see the scale changing. It's truly been like, well, how easy was that? It was 1 week. And if anything, we're trying to redo, or we're either trying to unlearn or relearn maybe years of just bad habits, or, you know, just years of not elevating. We're trying to re up to the next level. You know what I mean? And I tell that client, even right now where I'm at, kind of goes back to where, like what you said, when you were like, okay, when someone said, are you ready so you can stop? And it made me think of this song that I love, that just came out in February, but it's with Nipsey Hussle. And he says, put my feet up on the desk, never. We just re-up to the next level. And when you think about anyone who's really doing it, like Dr. Dre's in that song, and Dr. Dre, he was like, some, I still hustle like a star and artist, and I still love it. And Dr. Dre's been in the game, what, 20 plus years. If you look at anyone who's great, or at least great in their craft, they don't do it for the destination or the stop. They're not looking for the end. They keep going. They're looking for ways to constantly elevate. So to that client who was like, okay, yeah, I did this for this week. Okay, great. Let's take that to the next week. And then what else can we add on to that? What did we not do? Where did we possibly fail? Let's truly assess. You know what I mean? Like, that was great, but why not level up again? You know what I mean? If that's the case, instead of always looking at the, well, I'm doing this and it's not working. What more can I do? You know what I mean? Especially, if that goal is for you, but I think you can apply that method to whatever it is you want in life. Like, what more can I do to get it?
I love the example, because if you think about any great athlete or great musician or great business person, whatever, fill in the blank, that is so true. Reinventing yourself over and over and over again to get better and
Always.
better. And these are the people that are in the game, in the business the longest. Dr. Dre, I go right to Jennifer Lopez. My mind goes right to her
Superstar.
because I admire her so much in her business and her craft. So like, that's what I think. Like, you never know what's going to come next. They accept that progress is hard, but they keep on leveling up and accepting that it's hard, because when you are that good, sometimes it only gets harder, right?
Yeah, right. You know what I think happens? When you mention, like, okay, like when you sometimes you like just go in and then you look back and you're like, dang, I did all of that. I think what happens, is that like you get in that zone, and a lot of times you surpass that goal. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard, it's been hard, and you ain't even been looking for it to get easier. You just putting in work. You know what I mean? You're not looking for it to get easy.
I was literally just
Absolutely.
watching on Instagram. It was a reel came up and it was The Rock, and I like always stop when I see The Rock, and
Right, that part.
he was doing a talk with a group of people, and
I
he was
think I've
just
seen
like,
that one. Tell him.
he was like,
Tell him,
you
man.
wake up before 4 a.m. and you're up before everybody else, and you just start putting that work in. And it's one of those things. It's like, I just like, and it starts with like your two hands. Like, you gotta do the hard work. And he's also like, everyone in this room, like, sorry, like, you guys are all badass people, but he's like, none of you motherfuckers are gonna
Will
outwork me.
outwork
Like,
me. Dude, I
none of
love
you
that
guys are gonna
video.
outwork me, because I'm good. Like, I know I work so hard, and I'm up. Like, I'm up. I'm just, once I'm up, I'm wheels are turning. They're grinding.
Man, that video actually, like, it made me reassess, like, hey, how am I truly using each and every hour? Because I feel like I don't have large time blocks. I'm like, okay, yeah, so what? How am I utilizing the small time blocks? Like truly, like, dang, like he said you can't outwork him. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even look like? I want to find out.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to find out too, because I always joke with my coach and I always say, I don't know what happens on stage, because hard work does not show on stage. Like, you could be the hardest worker in the room and the judges don't know that. Do you know what I mean? But I say to her, for me, okay, which is leading into our next topic of your progress is unique to you. Okay. I say to her, for me, I know, and I want to be the hardest worker on that stage. Whether or not it shows in a placing, I don't know. I'm not the judge of that. The judges are. Like, I want to make sure I'm the hardest worker up there. So I will do everything in my power to make sure that I believe, right? Because my progress is unique to me. I believe I'm the hardest worker in the room, because no one's going to know you're the hardest worker in the room. Only you do. So it goes back to that. Like, you need to make sure you are the hardest worker in the room for you. So again, your progress is unique to you. I go back to bodybuilding because that's where I am right now. And looking at my pictures from a year ago till now, I am so proud because my progress is unique to me. Again, I don't know what's going to happen on stage. That's not for me. I'm not the judge, you know. The judges are the judges. They're there for a reason. I know before I step on that stage, I have already won for me. That's it. My progress is unique to me. My shoulders, my lower body, things, muscles I've grown, the conditioning that I'm bringing in, like that is unique to me and I've already won. So I'm pumped for my progress and no one can take that away from me because I'm already accepting that I've won for myself. The stage is just the extra. The stage and the judges are just the extra. Like you go on because you're proud and you're confident and you're like, look what I built, look what I did.
They get a chance to witness you.
They get a chance to witness me. Yes. And I get a chance to witness the amazing hard work and the dedication and the change because some of those judges they probably won't remember me from last year. They judge hundreds and hundreds of shows, you know? So they're not even going to get to see the progress I get to. And it's so satisfying. So your progress is unique to you, not anybody else. And again, put that phone, that social media down, the comparison game. There is no room for it here. As Jim Rohn would say, don't sign up for that class.
Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. All right, Scotty, your progress is unique to you. So what do you got for us on that?
It's like you have no idea what someone else is going through as well. Like and no one knows what you're going through. No one knows how you feel. No one knows the effort that you put in or that you're putting in. There was one day where I was in class and you know how we wear the line heart monitors at F45 and Paul was coaching and then I forget what workout it was and I'm going balls to the wall. That's what I do when I go in there. I'm trying to like work out as hard as I can every time I'm in there. And at the end of the class,
that's just what I do, man. I'm sorry, but
I love it. It's just what I do.
And he's true, and he's right, and he's so right.
He is. And I can make that joke too because he is.
Right.
I'll go in there, and be like, all right, cool. I tell Megan this all the time. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna take it easy today. And then I come home like, oh my god, why did I do that? Like that hurts so like. Like I lifted too heavy or like I went too hard. And she's like, I told you. Like, but he looked at the end of the class, it gives us our leaderboard of our points that you get depending on like how long you're in certain heart rate zones. And I'm at like dead last by like 10 points. And Paul's like, dude, like this is wild. Like he looked at me, he's like, watching you, like I could tell that you're literally the hardest worker in the room right now, but like your heart rate's not like up everybody else. And like that's why I don't look at that way. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to be on the top of the leaderboard or anything like that, because I know that my fitness level is different from other people. I'm not saying that like that being on the bottom is where you want to be, because there's plenty of people that are just as good in shape. Like Paul will be at the top of that leaderboard. It's just everyone's different. The way your body works, the way you adapt to things, it's just, you can't compare yourself to somebody else. Instagram, in the gym, like you see some guy throwing a couple 45s. Yeah, food. Like you see someone like eating a bunch of shit and then like they're in really good shape. Like, oh, I could eat that and be fine. Then you eat it and you blow up. Like, no, that's not how that works. Yeah, and like you see someone at the gym, they throw extra 45-pound plates on the side, and then you do it, and then boom, you throw your back out. Like that's not how that works. Like you gotta do it your way. You'll figure it out. It might find out the hard way, but like it wasn't supposed to be easy anyway. It's not supposed to be easy. It's going to be hard, and that's when you actually realize it's going to be hard, you'll know. And then we were another example with Paul at F45. We were both working out with each other last Saturday, and I was feeling kind of iffy. He was feeling kind of iffy, and after class, he's like, "Dude, you really pushed me today. Like, thanks for that." I was like, "Shit, like you were pushing me." Like it just like happened to go like both ways. Like we were both like we were just feeding off each other because we were both just trying to keep up with each other, and we just kept leveling up the whole time. So like that's awesome. It was great. And when you have someone that you could do that with, it's great. Yeah, and that is great. And I see going back
to the food, really your progress is unique to you, and the steps to get there is unique to you. Because when I talk to other competitors and everybody wants to know what's your macros, like that's like, I guess that's like saying, what do you bench? I don't even know. It's like a thing. Everybody wants to know what your macros are.
How many carbs
But
do you eat?
yeah, how
I
many
have it written
carbs are
down
you
right
eating?
here.
And I want to say, why? Because I'll tell you, but it's not, it might not work for you.
These my macros, man.
These are
Like-
my macros. I'll never forget this video. I think it was Dana Lynn Bailey. You guys know I love her. And she was the first Miss Physique Olympia, the first one ever. And she was doing this video and she was like measuring out like rice or chicken. And she's like, she pulls it away from the camera. She goes, get your own coach.
That
Get your
part
own
though,
coach.
like, yeah.
Like
I love that.
it's all unique to you. All right, Prince, talk on that. Your progress is unique to you, and I know you truly, I mean, we all truly believe that, but you see it firsthand as well. So talk to us about that.
Man, I always see it that way. Like my biggest thing too is like I do my best to go through life without judging anybody, just because like I believe that we were all like gifted and graced with, you know, everything that was seen fit for us. You know what I mean? So like that's all, I'm always trying to eat that slice of humble pie with everything. But I truly believe like, man, for real, it's delicious once you get acquired to the taste. But man, like I just feel like I feel like it's got to be unique to you. Like there's only one you, even if there's someone else with your name or whatever. There's only one you, and at the end of the day, man, like I'll share this with y'all. Like just like my own progress is like, dude, 100%. I could even, it's not a laughing matter, but I could say it with a smile. Now I used to want to off myself, like, and I probably made an attempt or two throughout my life, much younger days, to where now like that's something that I would never even think about. You know what I mean? It's something that where it's like as long as I got it in me to try it and I can go, I would never ever give up. You know what I mean? Like, and that for me is just, that's something I can take and I can run with every day. And not in a sense of being like, okay, man, hey, you used to be here mentally, like get complacent. Nah, it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, look at where you came from. Like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And we can quote Nipsey again on something he said. He said the journey is much shorter. Dang man, I can't even say it verbatim. But basically, he just said like you can't stop now. You can't stop. You've already like it's further to stop and go back to the beginning than it is to continue moving forward. Even though we're not aiming for a certain destination in a sense, but it's better to keep going. But
I love that.
Progress is personal and it's unique to you. And I think that's at the end of the day, like you got to always look at, okay, am I better? I can be better than that person at this one thing, quote unquote, possibly, but like, am I better than me at that thing? Like, you know, and for me, I think that's why one of the reasons why I love fitness so much is that like, say I'm really good at doing pull-ups and I can hit like 15 pull-ups effortless. And that's a decent amount to like, you know, maintain what I have right now. But like, I want to go further. So I'm always pushing, like I'll get back up on that bar if I know I had one more in there, even if it's going to suck. If I know like I held out, I'm gonna get back up on that bar. And I do my best. I'm still working on it, but I do my best to apply that same attitude and method toward life. But it's still personal. Still personal.
Yep. And it's so important, especially in the gym, because I think Scotty, you talked about this. You see somebody doing a certain exercise and then you're going to go ahead and do it and throw the same amount of weight on and you're going to blow your back out or you're not going to get anywhere. So I think the universe does a really good job of keeping us in our lane, so to speak. Like somebody said to me, do you ever feel like the universe keeps making things happen to make things go away or make things change? And I'm like, absolutely yes. All day, every minute, every second. And this was the other day and I was like, yes, because that's what's happening. We are getting forced to stay in our lane. They're bumper, you bowl, you know, those little bumper things they put in the lane. Yeah. I think sometimes we go through life with those because the universe is like, no, this way, left, no, right, no, or get back in where you gotta go. Yes, like get back in. Get back where you're supposed to be. So yeah, let's move on to and I love this one because this is so true. And I was talking with someone about change. Okay. And, and I think we talked about this too as well. Hold on, text. Hold on. Okay. I think we talked about this about change, where you guys were like, how do we adapt to change, or how do we deal with change? Part of honoring your progress is accepting that every day will look different. I talked about the example about we have this amazing meal plan from our coach, and it looks so pretty on that spreadsheet or in our fitness pal. And then we go to the grocery store and half the stuff we need is out of stock. Okay. Every day is going to look different. Or you have this great, it happens to me all the time. I have this great meal plan figured out, and I go in the pantry to get something. I'm like, oh no, we don't have any more of that. Or, your schedule's crazy and now your workouts move to a different time. It's all about, everything's going to move and change, and every day is going to look different. And mentally, let's talk about mental hygiene a minute. Mentally, one day you may feel like you're feeling yourself, you're great, you're like, look at me. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, I really feel like I'm not making any progress. Like that brain and your moods, remember, motivation is a mood. Like that's the truth. So every day is going to look different. So that's why you got to keep that mental hygiene on lock and feed your brain and dive daily into yourself. Right? So Scotty, talk about every day will look different. Now, this is great for you two, because every day, and me, every day looks different for our clients, right? We're planning different workouts. You got different classes. Yes.
It's really what you said it initially, and I'm glad you said it, because that's kind of what I was going with on this topic, was adapting. And there's going to be outside factors that you can't control. It could be the weather. It could be the people driving around you on your way to work. It could be so many different things. It could be the power goes out, the water gets cut off. Like there's so many like ridiculous things that could happen that you have no control over. And the best thing to do is just to adapt. And you might, like, obviously it's not that easy. I could just say, oh, just adapt, like just figure it out. Like, no, but like, and you learn that from past mistakes, or you learn that from things happening to you prior, you know what I mean? Like, and that's also with you being proactive and being more open to like different situations, like just getting out and being around people and just trying different things. Like, I'm not saying like you need to be perfect at anything or to be the best at something, but if you're at least trying to make an effort to just engage with other people or surround yourself with other people, it's just like you're going to be able to, sorry, words, like I said, words are not my friend today.
Words are hard today.
Words are hard. And just being able to adapt, like it might not happen in the snap of a finger, but like you'll learn. And it's also, and then also taking your energy. We talked about this last podcast as well, is taking your energy, like not freaking out, not like losing your temper right away. It's like just kind of like relax, stay calm. All right, cool. How can I adjust this? Like if something you can't control is happening, like why are you mad? Like you can't do anything about it anyway. So like if it's something that you can do, yeah, you can be mad at yourself. Like you woke up and you're like, I don't want to work out today. And then boom, you don't work out for the next like week and a half. And you're like, oh man, like now I'm further from my goal. Like then you could be mad at yourself because that was your decision to make.
Your decision.
But like you could have made a decision. All right, cool. Like let me get up. All right, let me at least go for a walk. Maybe we'll get some energy. Like, all right, cool. Now I'll do my workout. It's like taking like little steps, like trying to just figure out what can work and what doesn't work. But you never know what can come at you. Like when you come into the studio and you're like, oh crap, it's upper body today. How many people told me this yesterday? Like, oh, it's upper body today. And I thought it was leg day. Like, what are you gonna do? Just go home and not do arms now? Like no, you're gonna do the workout and then exactly. Maybe you did like a chest workout somewhere else the day before. All right, cool. We'll modify something. You adapt. You change things. You know. All right, cool. 100%. Like you ran out of food. All right, cool. What's the next closest thing that can hit these macros for me? Or like, hey, let me run to the store real quick if I have some time. Or like, hey, like maybe I'll just like order something. Like there's a way to do everything. You just
There's
have
a
to
way to do
figure it out.
everything. Yes.
Find a way.
Be resourceful. Who was
Mhm.
it? Was it trying to think? It was one of either Ed Milet or Andy or Jocko or somebody always talked about the winner is always resourceful. You must be resourceful. That is a you
It
must
was
be
Jocko.
resourceful. Yes, figure it out and go with it. Like, what is next best thing? What can you do? Be resourceful. I love that. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Prince? Every day will look different. Now, well, you got a new baby. We know every day looks different
Man,
for
you
you. So
already know.
Man.
you talk to us about this.
I'll give a quick example. Yesterday, I was training my client at home. And my wife, she said she's gonna take a shower. I was like, cool, cool, cool. Like Harlow's sleeping, I got it. Uh, man, like right after my client gets done warming up, I hear Harlow crying. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? Like, let me go grab the baby. Uh, Client's warming up. I'm like, you know what? Hey, look, let's try this. Like, I'm gonna put my baby down for 1 second. I'm gonna show you all three movements. All right, I'm gonna pick her back up, and then now I'm gonna just cue you on form. And it worked out. But it was one of those things where like the old me would have been like, oh man, I guess we just need to stop and reschedule, or
Mhm.
like it won't work. You know what I mean? But it's just like, no, let's make it work. And if worst case scenario, if you feel like, hey, that wasn't a good session, I owe you one. You know what I mean? Like let's
Mhm.
make
Good
up
for
for it.
you.
And we keep pushing, you know what I mean? But that's one small scenario. Right now, every day is different as far as like, when she's gonna wake up. You know what I mean? There was one day, and I wasn't even here for it, but I just felt my wife's pain. She had just finished breast pumping, and the bottle was leaking. And this was when she first started
Mm.
too. And you can't just like pump out some more really quick if you're just starting. And like I just felt her pain with it. And she was like, my older daughter woke up and like Haven hopped in to help and like she adapted. But anyway, that's just adapting with new baby, like small stuff. I'll say let's talk about when all the gyms closed and
Oh,
and
yes.
Mhm.
and everyone was like, we can't work out anymore. You know what I mean? And I understand if you feel like you need that push. Like for me, like I was living in a completely different state. We moved back to my wife's where she's from. So we moved back here and no access to a gym. But I was like, you know what, let's get creative. Like I know that I'm pretty strong in my squat, but I don't have weight. I'm gonna do lunges. Like let's put more load on one leg, even out. Let's get creative. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Like every day is different in that situation. Every day is different as far as my work schedule, training schedule. You know what I mean? Like I do my best to create that normalcy in that, but every day is different. Some days I'm off at 1 p.m. Some days I'm not off until 8 p.m. You know what I mean? But I still do my best to like be organized during that time, do my best to have like a backup plan, like a plan B just in case, not a run out plan, but a plan B just in case I do have to adapt. And
Mhm.
all in all, man, I've lived in several different states, like from Spain to several different states around the US, and every place has been different, and I've had to adapt. And I think that the easiest thing to do when you got to adapt is go the path of least resistance and just give up and just be like, and not search for a way to why it can't work. And my wife's helped me out a lot on that with being like, no, like you got to at least like think about ways that this could have worked, or think about a way you could like petition this situation type of thing. Don't just, hear no and then walk away from it and be like, oh, well, I'll try because you didn't try.
Mm.
And that
Yes,
hurt to
so
that
good.
hurt to hear at first, but I was like facts, and it's definitely
Right.
something that, it's true. Every day is different. But when you got a goal and you trying to get progress, you got to expect that, and you got to still be like, this goal is still that important.
Yeah. I love
You got
all
to keep
that.
going.
All right. So the last one is be kind to yourself during the process. Gosh, what does it do to beat ourselves up? Nothing, right? And I know that we all hear this a lot with people that we work with, or just friends or family, or just talking to people in general about like the self talk, man. Like what you say to yourself matters. Like that is so true. Be
Mhm.
kind to yourself during the process. If I was sitting here saying, Angie, you're not enough. Why are you even doing this bodybuilding? Why are you even trying? Why are you getting on stage? You're this age, you're this, you're that. There's no chance. There's no chance. 1% of doubt and you're out. Like, done. So be kind to yourself. You know, you truly, when you truly love yourself and you truly love working on yourself, and you are like, I just say love yourself. Like, it's amazing the things you can accomplish. And it's amazing how that dialogue in your head changes. And we always say, like, would you talk to somebody else the way you talk to yourself? Would you treat somebody else the way you treat yourself? So I encourage you to look at that. Like, you've got to be kind to yourself during the process. And this is my favorite Jillian quote. And I don't know if this was one of our quotes. If you get a flat tire, do you get out and slash the other three? You fix it and you get back on the road.
I would probably did some things like that back in my mental and stable days. I was just like, F it all. But no.
All right, Scotty, real quick, let's finish up on this topic. Be kind to yourself during the process. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's definitely like taking things with a grain of salt. Like, you're gonna hit roadblocks, you're gonna hit obstacles, things are gonna get in your way, and you, like you say, you have to transfer that energy in a positive way. And you have to start with yourself, and people also feed off your energy too. So you have to also be mindful, if you're in that kind of setting of other people, like, if you're beating yourself up, like, that's going to make other people kind of like maybe stay away from you or something like that. Like, me and Julian went golfing yesterday, and then it was funny because, like, I was getting super frustrated on certain shots, and she's like, "It's okay, you got this. Like, don't worry about it. Shot's over." And then, like, she'd mess up and she'd do the same thing. Like, "Nah, don't worry about it. You're doing great." Like, and then we were just like picking each other up. Like, we were definitely not being kind to ourselves. But then, like, at the end, we're like, "All right." And then we were just having fun. Like, at the end, we're like, "All right, cool. Like, whatever." Like, but it's like literally just, you have a bad day. All right, cool. You had a bad day. All right, start fresh the next day. And it's just, you don't want to beat yourself up too much, because then you could just lead yourself down like a bad hole and just end up, and then you'll end up just falling off real hard. And then you just lost all the progress you just made. Your goals out of sight. And then what? Then what's the next step from there?
Right. And then why? So why all of that? Right. Why did all that have to happen?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then, like, I don't know, I'm like in a weird state right now after 75 hard. I definitely fell off. Like, I told myself I was going to indulge, and I've been indulging a little bit too long. And I definitely like can feel it and see it.
Confessions of Scotty.
Hey, it happens, bro. I understand, man.
So it's been a little struggle city since then. But I've been enjoying myself. Been able to like go drink with Megan and like have some beers, and like just, she always makes dessert and like all this food, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna say no. But I definitely need to get back on track, and just, I need to be better at just telling myself, like, all right, it's okay. Like, you can have this little bit, like, just like, don't overdo it. Like, we talked about this, like, don't overdo things. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So
you're going to work on being kind to yourself and saying, hey, I can have this, but then I got to get back to the work, back to the board, back to the desk,
business.
back to the gym, whatever it is.
Back to business, body.
Yeah.
Back to business, body. That's right. That's what I'm saying. Back to business. All right. So, Prince, I would like you to talk about being kind to yourself. So, during the process. So tell us a little bit of what that means to you.
Man, that's like, for me, I want to say the first thing I think about is acceptance. And then, like, I think, like, when you, like, if you could be kind to yourself, like, in the process, when you, like, say, like, you got a aesthetic goal and you want to lose 10 pounds, and like, you don't necessarily like what you see when you look in the mirror, but you still love what you see because you love you. I think that's such a big level. And getting to that level was actually kind of exciting when you got that kind of self-love. But I say the biggest part is self-acceptance of being like, you know what, hey man, like, we right here today, like, let's just keep going. Like, I accept you, you know what I mean? And I think, like, the value between self the relationship between self and self is so undervalued or not even recognize like the importance of it. I don't think it's even recognized like about how
Right.
important that is. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that like, if you could be at complete peace with yourself, like you can't be at war with the world. You know what
That's
I mean? Like
truth.
you like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like and at that point, I mean, honestly, I feel like you've reached some level of spirituality where you could go ahead and leave this place. But you need to stay because you got to share that with the world. But like I just feel like when you reach that level, the biggest thing that comes to mind is acceptance. Acceptance and love.
I love that. That's so true. That is so true. If you are kind to yourself, it's easy to be kind to others, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
really we are a lot of times we're the worst to ourselves, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're worse to the people that we love and are closest to us. Think about that. So I think it all does go back to you, like being kind to yourself, learning that. So then, like you said, you can put that out into the world.
Yeah, if you don't have a
Absolutely.
chip on your shoulder, you're not gonna be hating on anyone. You don't really have anything negative put out toward anyone else
Yeah.
either, you know?
Right. Right. All love. All right. So we talked about a bunch of ways to honor your progress. And I hope everybody takes these and think about which one you need to work on to be able to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy. Because remember, the process is supposed to be a journey, but you're supposed to enjoy it. And I have a sign I'm looking at right in front of me that you guys can't see. I have hanging on my wall. It says, fall in love with the process and the results will come. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Nice.
have that hanging on my wall in my sunroom,
Love that.
and I love it. And I love it. All right. What are we working out to this week? I'm going to start. Guys, I had so many. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, and then I keep going because I'm gonna walk into the gym with this song. It's 1986, Paul Revere, Beastie Boys, that beginning part. I'm gonna walk
Hey.
into the
Mm-hmm.
gym like this because that's my vibe right now, 1 week out. That
Hey,
beat,
turn up.
I
that
love
beat
that. I love
is
that.
in my head. And that's
I
all, like
love
I
that.
could literally just have that beat playing on repeat my whole workout today.
You gotta add that to the playlist right now.
That's my swag. That's what I'm going. That's how I'm going on
You
stage
know,
like that.
that's the kind of sauce,
I like it.
you making.
All right,
I
Scotty,
love
what
it.
you got?
I got a fun song. It's called Moneymaker. It's by three. I'm not sure who it's exactly by, but it's Moneymaker by Throttle, Lunch Money
Ooh,
Lewis, and Aston Marigold.
Throttle and what's
What?
Lunch Money Lewis?
Lunch Money
Yo,
Man,
Lewis.
I love those
Lunch
names.
Money Lewis. I love that name.
And
Yes,
then
Lunch
Aston
Money
Marigold. But
Lewis.
if you look up Moneymaker and type in Throttle, like as the artist, like it'll pop up. And it's definitely got this like 70s, 80s kind of like not maybe like I guess like disco. And it's just like I don't know, it's got that like talking about jiving and like talking about like being on roller skates. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I like
okay,
Yeah,
that.
smooth.
it's good. It's great. You're gonna
And
love it.
I want to call my friend Lewis Lunch Meat Lewis now.
Yes.
Lunch Meat.
Lunch Money Lewis.
Or
Lunch
lunch,
Money.
lunch meat. I heard lunch meat.
Oh, lunch meat's funny. That's great.
No, I'm going lunch meat. I'm
Lunch
not
Meat
Oh
going lunch
Lewis.
man.
money.
Lunch Money's
Lunch
taken.
meat Lewis.
Lunch meat
That is
Lewis.
hilarious. Lunch meat Lewis. No, guys, it's lunch money. Man, where did they come up with these?
Gotta be born with it.
Who? Okay, question. Who sits there and they're like, okay, guys, I need a really dope name. Like, help me out. You got some lunch money, Lewis? You need some lunch money, Lewis? They're at the cafeteria. That's my
That's me.
name.
Hey, I mean, or think what the backstory is behind that, you know? Why they call you Lunch Money Lewis, man?
My mom never
That's
gave me lunch money.
that.
He
I
might have been a
love that.
bully. He might have been a bully, taking
Yeah,
everybody's
he
lunch
could have been a
money.
bully.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Prince, before I laugh too hard and I can't get my composure because I'm on that verge of like laughing so hard I don't stop. So
Oh
what's your
man.
song?
I was right there
Um,
too.
my song is by Dr. Dre, Nipsey Hussle, and Ty Dolla Sign. It's called Diamond Mind. And
Is
I
this the
literally
one you
put,
quoted?
yes, I made it. Took a
Okay,
lot
good.
of quotes from that song. It's called
All right,
Diamond Mind.
I'm definitely listening to that.
You gotta tap in. I play this like every morning when I walk into the gym at 3:45 a.m. Like
Ah,
that's my jam.
I love that. Awesome. All right. Final words, Prince. What do you got for us today to tie all this together? Spring is sprung, the sun is shining. We're talking about progress. Bring it
Man,
all together.
like honestly, it's really simple. It's just keep going, go all the way. Like keep going all the way, no matter what it is. Keep going. Like period, simple. Whatever it is, if it's a goal, keep going. If it's hard, keep going. If it's good, keep going. Just period.
I
That's how
love
I'm
that.
feeling.
Swimming.
Yes.
That's how I'm feeling.
I feel like you need to go into your Instagram, and we all should go into our Instagram and say those exact words. Keep going, keep
Just
going,
keep going.
keep going.
Period, with a big period at the end. Maybe not
I
a period.
love it.
If you put a period, you stop. But you get me. Just keep going. That's really how I feel, man. About just
What's called
everything.
the three
The
dots.
continue,
dot.
yeah, dot. Did you know
Dot,
this?
dot.
Dot.
Andrew's on one right now. I love it.
All right. Till next time, before I have a laugh attack, because it's about to
Yeah.
happen. Okay. Oh,
All right,
side note
y'all.
though.
Oh yeah. Rent
Side
it.
note. Okay. I talk about laughter real quick because we always talk about the TV not being good for your mental hygiene, but I beg to differ because I have my ultimate favorite show that I now have on Wild and Out. I now can watch it, and that's one of my favorite shows. And if you
That's
don't
great.
laugh at it, then I don't know what to tell you, but it is great for your mental health, mental
Oh my
hygiene.
gosh.
Watch Wild and Out.
Yeah.
Nick
I love
Cannon,
that show.
please.
It's a good song. It's a
It's
good,
the-
not a good song. It's a
it's
good
the
show.
best.
It's a great show.
Good show. Good show. All right, guys, we are out. You can find me at Ange Fit, at Sky the Body, Train Like Prince. Like,
Don't know where it is.
subscribe, comment.
All that.
I'll keep everybody posted on show. And I
Mhm.
just want to give these guys a big thank you for supporting me and giving me my weekly energy boost that I need when we do these podcasts.
Same here. I'm reloaded.
You got
Same
this.
here. Same here.
You got this.
Reloaded.
Yeah.
And I swear, Scotty, if they play that booty bounce song when I'm on stage, I just,
Download that.
Lose
I don't
it.
even know, because that song is never, ever doubt. I have on the booty bands and I'm finishing with my glute exercises, and here comes that song. Dun, 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 dun. Like it comes on, and I just want to laugh. But
You should either laugh or dance. You might dance and might
Yes.
win, you know.
yes. So guys, make sure you go to our Instagram so you can get the song, so you can create your workout playlist, the ultimate
real.
playlist.
If you've been rocking with
real.
us
Check it
this
out.
long, like your playlist is definitely fire right now. If you've been
Oh,
rocking with
for
us,
real.
downloading every song, yeah.
Right. All right, signing out. Talk to you guys
Peace.
later. We'll see you next time.
Deuces.